price. Only got one life. Got one shot at this, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Yeah, gotta do it right. Yeah, do it for Christ. Only got one life. Got one shot at this, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Time to throw in the towel. I've been holding on this for a while. I'm moving on my own skin. Crocodile, yeah, I'm washed in the blood. Made new, can't tell who I was. No, he saved me by grace. He did it just because. Yeah, my flesh was on E. Had to fill it with the spirit. God, I could bleed. Secretly in prayer, gotta keep it real discreet. All the verses did around God.
Hey, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Wealthy Marriage Wednesday.
Yes. Welcome.
Hey, y'all know what time it is. It's Wealthy Marriage Wednesday.
Absolutely. It's the best
It's the
best
time
of the week.
Hey, y'all are going to be so happy for
Oh,
this
yeah.
session that we have today because we're going to be talking about people today.
Mm.
And if nothing else, real estate is a people business.
It
You
is.
wanted us to talk about real estate, so that's what we're doing. Is we're going to share with you some stuff
Yeah.
that's helped us and helped a lot of other people to be able to go from not knowing nothing about real estate, not knowing anything about houses and fixing stuff up,
Yeah.
to being able to be full-time real estate investors and working for ourselves.
That's
And many
right.
people want to know how to do that.
Mhm.
And so we're going to share you. The key is people. And
People.
because there might not be everything that you know, but you can deal with people and you can
Oh,
deal
yeah.
with them the right way.
Yeah, because you deal with people all the time and everything you do in all parts of your
All
life.
day.
Yeah.
You know, Joy, I realized today
What's
how
that?
many people, just on a normal basis, like how many people we interact with
Oh my goodness.
doing our business and just not only including
lot.
business, but in our personal life too.
Yeah.
But you talking about in business?
Yeah.
I mean, we are constantly texting somebody, constantly on the phone,
Mhm.
constantly, you know, and it's not like an all the time thing, but it's just like you just got to
Yeah,
talk to a lot of people.
some
Talk to a lot
type
of people
of
interaction.
contact. Yeah.
Whether it's a contractor or whether it's a city official, a neighbor, it could be a tenant, you know,
Yeah.
it could be a person who's wanting to sell something, somebody who's wanting to buy something.
Mhm.
I mean, a realtor, it
Oh,
could be
man.
an attorney, it could be an accountant, a bookkeeper. I mean, these communications are so normal
Oh,
for
yeah.
us that we don't realize how constant they are. Like
No.
we feel like we just relaxing, but really,
Right.
you know, we probably in that 1 hour we was just sitting back eating,
Yeah.
sent about, 10 text messages and had a call or something, and it just became part of it. Didn't distract you. It was just like normal.
It's just normal.
And you didn't even think about it. It wasn't a big deal to you, but you
No.
learned how to interact with people
Yeah.
at a very high level.
Yes.
And so if you want to be great in this business and you want to be able to accelerate in real estate or anything else you're doing, really for this matter, this is probably the most transferable message that we're going to talk
For
about
sure.
is being able to deal with people and deal with people well.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about it from our perspective. Joy and I are both associate pastors at our church, Christ Temple Christian
Yes,
Life
we
Center.
are.
And then on top of that, we do nonprofit work and we do our business work and we deal with each other as a family.
Yeah.
And so we got a certain way of dealing with people. I don't know if it's called expertise, but we got a certain way of dealing with people.
It's working for us.
Yeah, it's just a way that works for us. But we're going to show you some tips and where we got some of the stuff. So obviously the Bible is a good place to look at how to
For
interact
sure.
with people.
Yes.
But today we're going to be talking about it using another book as well that hopefully will help you to be able to gain some deeper understanding in this area. So check it out. Remember, we are financially independent, retire early real estate coaches. We love helping couples to be able to become financially independent through real estate investing.
All right.
It's easy to do.
Yeah.
You just hit us up
At 502-632-3005.
and we would be very, very glad to assist you in your real estate journey because that's what we love to do. But to get started today, we have to let you know this one and very important thing, which is our freedom formula. And we talk about it every single week.
Oh, but we forgot the disclaimer.
Hold on, we get there.
Okay. I thought we do it before that.
We'll give you a disclaimer here in just a second.
All right. So the freedom formula. Let's turn time into money.
And turn money into assets.
And turn assets into freedom.
That's right. Buying assets so you can have freedom to. You have freedom to do whatever it is, the thing it is that you want to do. And you got some more coming. Some more wealth, some more time, some more nonprofits, some more ministry. You got some more something that you want to do.
That's right.
And so you want to do some more of that something, then get you some assets and get that freedom to get your time back.
Yeah.
And so here's a disclaimer.
So what we are sharing with you this evening is, from our experience, we are not realtors, we're not legal professionals. This is just purely from our experiences that we are sharing with you. So please fact check, please ask some other folks, but just to know that what we are sharing with you is from our own experiences.
Yep. Hey, and so just as a fact, just like what Miss Coach Joy said, and she told you some real deal stuff right there. Do your own research. But guess what? Some stuff we're going to share with you is going to help you to get paid.
That's right.
And you're going to be happy you paid attention. So check out this book right here, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Oh my goodness. When I first heard the title of this book, I was so awestruck. I was like, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It sounded like a manipulation book. I was like, I don't like that. I didn't even like the feeling of the book itself, because when I heard the name of it, I was like, I have friends and people like me, and why do I need to read a book about that stuff?
Right.
And so I just didn't really get it at all. But when I really started to read it, it really was just sharing some things that we don't think about, that when we do them right, we get great relationships. But when we do them wrong, we don't. And there's key points and certain things that are more important to people than others. And this book really helped to break that down. And so when you talk about being in our people business, you are going to have to know how to win friends quickly, how to get on people's good side in a good way, and how to stay off people's bad side. And if you can do that, it will help every single piece of your business. So we're going to be talking about some principles from that book here today on this Wealthy Marriage Wednesday. You say, I thought y'all was just talking about real estate. Well, this is real estate.
Well, yes.
This is, because
if you applicable to real estate.
If you don't know people and you can't deal with people, you're going to be in a hard way dealing with real estate. If you want to be better, because people want to work with people, they want to do business with people. They write these 3 words down. They know,
like,
and trust. And so, are you a person who people like dealing with? I guess what? I don't want to. The best part about being a small business, and if you're doing real estate, you're a small business, and so, or some people are big business, but we're becoming a big business. But I mean, if you're doing under $25 million in a year, you're a small business. Okay. So all right, so we're a small business, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, we're dealing with all these different people. Well, if we at any point, I don't have to deal with people I don't like no more.
That's right.
Like, this ain't like corporate. Like, you do all the hiring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't have nobody working with you who you have to work with because you're forced to work with.
Yeah, you get to choose who you work around, who's in your midst on a daily basis.
Like, about 95% of the time, you're around people that you chose to be around. Every once in a while, you got to deal with somebody who's working for somebody else who's just kind of being a little bit, abrupt or off. That's just the way of things, but you get a lot more control about who you spend your time with.
That's true.
Which helps your emotional state. It helps your mental state. How many times did you go to work and it wasn't the job that you hated? It was just like somebody there or a group of people was just wearing you out. They weren't listening. They wasn't getting it.
Yes.
Y'all was constantly butting heads, or it's like they just wasn't communicating, had unrealistic expectations, too much power. They was doing something crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know
and it's forced on you. And so if you get the opportunity to be in this real estate business, you get to work with people like, and trust. And people want to work with you because they know you, like you, and trust you. Meaning being comfortable sharing your information, like who you are. You get to be your actual self. Like, to be a Black man in business, I get to be a Black man all the time. Like, and then I get to be educated, and then I get to be a nerd, and then I get to be hands-on, and then I get to be a Bible person. Like, all the different aspects of who I am, I get to demonstrate those in business without any restrictions. And so I get freedom to do that.
Yeah, I know, one of the things that I appreciate the most about us being our small business and being able to work together is that you really get to be your authentic self. And because sometimes when you're in corporate or any other arena of working, sometimes it's hard to be yourself because you're afraid of getting fired. You're afraid of what people are going to think that's going to cause you to lose what is feeding you and your family. And
Right.
so that's one of the things that I love most about what we get to do.
Yeah, and two, it's also, I love what you're saying, and I love it too, because there's an element of freedom in every corporation. People are going to be nice and allow you to wear your hair, you want to wear it with a beard, or put your curls out, or whatever you want to do. I think we're getting a little bit more. I'm not talking about that kind of the sense of belonging type, DEI type. I wrote a whole book on that. I can tell you all about it. I'm talking about when you're able to share a full range of emotions and even talk about topics that are they're just not necessarily appropriate in the workplace. It's like you get to share some real beliefs. Like, we'll stop a whole conversation with some contractors or something and just have prayer. Like, we just have prayer. Or we go deep and just start into a mentoring conversation, or you'll get off and there's just a lot of different ways where you can really add a lot of value and you can be expressive. So these are wonderful things. But what we're going to talk about in a greater level of detail is some principles. And so here's some principles that'll help you to be able to deal with people in every environment, but specifically in real estate.
Yes. So don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Yeah. And so it's a biblical principle, like judge not lest you be judged. A lot of times we just get a little bit under people's skin when we lead with criticism. Like, if somebody doesn't do something perfectly, we have to assume a positive intent and just believe that the person is doing it out of a good intention and not a bad intention. And so when you change your perspective and not criticizing somebody, if you're able to critique somebody as opposed to criticize.
Especially when I think personally, when somebody wants to tell me, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. But that other thing, that spreadsheet you did was fantastic. How about you leave with that? Because then I can receive whatever that I need to do better on the next time. But leave it with something that I did wrong, I'm stuck there. And so being able to communicate something positive first is always better, has been better for me to receive some criticism or some feedback or something.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And so there's nothing like it is when you are able to communicate openly and be able to do it in a positive manner. And so find a positive way. Obviously, standing on your stuff and making sure you stand up for yourself is one thing, but just complaining, nobody wants to hear you complaining.
No.
Nobody wants to hear you talking bad about somebody behind their back. Don't be a person who's like that. And this is a tip, if somebody's talking about somebody else to you, and they being all negative and nasty, then guess what? They're doing the same thing about you in another conversation. You just got to know that. And so, the next principle.
Give honest and sincere appreciation.
Man, there's nothing like going up to somebody and just give them a really good thank you. I mean, just like, I really appreciate it. Like, people are really, really wanting to do the right thing. I think about this all the time when I think about like people who are working hard for you. In many ways, we got some like realtors who are working really hard. They go out and like do their thing, and like they really are making calls. They're really on the grind. Like some of them are, others aren't, but some of them are really in it. And when you could just say, well, I really appreciate that. Like really, really, like thank you for the effort that you put in. Or somebody painted a wall, or somebody went underneath the house and fixed something, and that what they did wasn't easy. It might have been something they were paid for. It might have been something you agreed to. But just adding in a sincere appreciation. Thank you so much. And taking the time to acknowledge this. It took some effort for somebody to do it, and that's a big deal.
I totally agree. I mean, because appreciation is one of the it just shows that you think of them more than just somebody who works for you, but you see that they're a person. There is more to them than just that.
Yeah, even if you're doing something for somebody else, like a lot of times, we'll be signing some paperwork and there might be an attorney there. We'll just thank them, because you really showing some appreciation. Thank you for, I went through this in detail and all this stuff was accurate. You took the time to do that. And, I could tell that you care about what you do, and it makes a difference. I mean, it makes a difference when you just take the time to acknowledge the things that are going right. And many times, and that'll help you with principle number one, instead of looking for all the stuff that's going wrong, it's taking time to acknowledge all the wonderful things that are going right.
Absolutely.
We're helping somebody today. Principle number 3.
Become genuinely interested in other people.
Man, you cannot fake this one right here.
You sure
can't fake it. Can't fake it.
Like literally. asking somebody about their spouse
Mhm.
or their kids that they just mentioned like in
Yeah.
a passing conversation about something, but being able to recall that and ask them sincerely, how they doing, what they into now, show them that you care more about just what they can do for you,
Yeah.
but how their family is doing.
Yeah, and it's all good. It's easy to do that when you're so wrapped up in the task at hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to make a deal. I want to make a deal. I want to make a deal.
Mhm.
Or you said this, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
And so it's all good until something doesn't go perfectly. Then your heart starts racing
Right.
like this, and all you can think about is that one little topic. And then that's the main time that we got to take a deep breath and really take a genuine interest in what the other person's got going on.
Yeah.
And what's going on with their life, what's going on with their mind, what's going on with their family, really learning what's somebody's motivation to do it. Like once you learn what somebody really cares about, it's a lot easier to communicate with them.
Yeah.
When you learn what their priorities are, what their values are, learning what ticks them off, like learning what they don't like, and then being able to be a person who can, stay with that stuff.
Yeah, and I found that finding out people's why. Like why they do what they do. Some people are so passionate, especially like some of the tradesmen that we work with. They are so passionate about what they do, and to get to that, to understand why, is because some of lives have been changed by being able to take on that trade. And so just knowing that, it's been just eye-opening.
Great people.
Yeah.
It's nothing like working with great people, and then it's nothing like getting to know. And then what better way to build some great relationships, like people who you are really going to get to enjoy this short journey with. Life is short.
It is.
It's just short. Like we don't get a long time to be here. So why not take the time with the people who you are interacting with to build some community and like really get a chance to be a positive part of each other's lives. And so that's one of the best parts about everything we get to do is we get to take the time to learn somebody and be a positive part of their life.
That's right.
And if you really want to dig in and you really want to have great relationships in your business or in other areas, is be genuinely interested. The other one.
It's so simple.
Smile. Somebody should put smile in the chat. I'm gonna put smile in the chat right here. Smile I'm gonna tell you, why you got to put smile is because when you get in the mode of it's all about business and you get this resting, bad mama jamma face going.
Yeah.
You get that, and then you walk up to somebody and you're supposed to be talking, but you got this kind of hardcore face going on.
Right.
And then sometimes y'all know too, y'all get to roll your eyes a little bit and get to look at it some type of way.
That's true.
There's nothing better than just taking a moment, taking a deep breath and putting on a smile. You could get a lot away with a lot of stuff just by saying it with a smile.
Oh yeah. Oh, I am a witness.
Yeah, this is a real deal.
Yeah,
that's it. There's a lot of different things that you can get away with just by saying it with a smile. And so learning how to say it with a smile when you don't feel like smiling, when you're maybe not smiling on the inside, maybe somebody didn't do something that you agreed with, or somebody did something that you didn't like too much.
That's right.
But just being able to smile will remind you that whatever they did is not that big of a deal. It can more than likely be undone. It's not the end of the world.
That's right.
And it reminds you that anything that you addressing, you need to address it positively, because this person is more than whatever it is that wasn't perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, that's
And
good.
So whenever you do that, it makes all the difference.
I don't have a problem smiling.
Nah, Joy smiles all day from the crack of dawn, all day. All right.
Right. Number 5, remembering the person's name.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Like, how often do you like forget somebody's name? Like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, because I'm like a big welcoming person.
Yeah.
So when I come up to you, I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm like all into it. And I'm really curious. I'm like wanting to learn about you. Like, I'm seriously like wanting to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm a hugger too. So I'm around. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'm all into it. And I've learned all this stuff about you. We've talked in a great deal, but I've completely spaced on the first thing you told me, which is your name.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people say their name soft.
Yeah.
And so what I had to start doing was, like, they say the name, I had to say it multiple times.
Yeah.
and I'll say it multiple times, and many times I'll write it down too. Like hey, how do you spell your name correctly? Because I want to write it down so I can get your information.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do all that because I really, really want to remember your name. And I'm really bad at remembering names, and I feel embarrassed the next time I see somebody. If I don't remember your name, I'm embarrassed about it. And this is one of the key principles here is remembering a person's name. There's nothing sweeter to anyone than their name. It's the most wonderful thing.
I mean,
but because if you call somebody outside of their name, you'll see. Like, what about? And so picture me. I've had this great conversation with somebody. We've really bonded, and then the next time, instead of your name was Greg, and I just walked up, hey, what's up, Gary? And you're like, Gary, my name's Greg, and you're like, wow, it just immediately threw off all that. So you didn't care enough to even know my name.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're there. Everything drops.
Yeah.
But when somebody remembers they met you a couple of years ago and you walk up to them and then call them by name specifically, and they don't think you remembered it, oh my goodness gracious, it make you feel like a superstar.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I really left an impression on this person. They remember my name. That's such a big deal. And so for myself too, I'm constantly in front of people doing different stuff. So being a person who's in front of people, sometimes people know your name, but you don't know theirs.
Yeah.
And then they'll call you right by your name.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and like, yeah, we met at an event such and such, and like, you probably don't remember. And I'm like, nah, I don't, but I want to, and I feel bad about it. And I don't feel bad about it. I will go and intentionally practice their name after they tell me again. And I'm like practicing their name. I'm telling Joy the name. I'm like, let's get the name. I'm writing it down. I'm putting notes into my contact. Whatever I got to do to help me to remember somebody's name, I really want to do it because I have a heart to remember the name. But it's such a big deal.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep. So if you want to be successful in that regard with people, remember names.
Be a good listener and encourage others to talk about themselves. John, you're really good at this. You're really good because he asks those open-ended questions about people. He don't really do like direct yes or no questions because he wants to know more about you. And so being able to pull that information out of people just to know, you're really good at that.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. But you're a really good listener.
Yeah.
And so it's like you'll just sit there and listen and very intently for as long as you want on any kind of tangent too, which helps for me. And so I'm a curious person. And so I'm a good listener when you're interesting. And so you're interesting when you're new, or you're interesting when you got something new. But if you're not interesting, I'm probably not the best listener. Like, once I think that you're repeating the same stuff you already told me, I'm like kind of spacing. Like, all right, God bless you. We'll see. And it's not intentional, but I'm really interested. And sometimes, when you're meeting other people, it's learning how to not be guarded in the conversation. Because if you got somebody who really is a caring person or really wants to connect, and then they're really wanting something deeper than just the surface level. And if you don't give it to them, it's like, I'm not going to sit here, wasting your time and wasting my time having a superficial conversation. And that's just not what I do. But if you want to go deeper, we can go deeper as you want to go. We can talk for hours. And so that's the kind of people you're going to run into in this space. So just making sure that you're open, transparent, not hiding, not feeling all extra private, and then really, really allowing people the opportunity to talk. I love to hear what people have to say. I love to hear the things that are interesting for other people. And when you do, it helps because people love talking about themselves.
They do.
And the main people who love talking about themselves is the people who don't know they love talking about themselves.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's something that they got going on that's really interesting. And I'm like, don't be holding back the good stuff. Give me the good stuff.
Tell me
the interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Come
too.
on,
like, I don't know if you notice or not. You're my entertainment too.
Yeah.
And so I don't watch a lot of TV.
Right.
So I'm asking you these questions because you're here to entertain me on top of that with your life experiences and your stories.
Right.
Right. It's like, are they really into it? Yes. We really are, So give us the good stuff when you talk to us.
Right.
All right. And then it's talking in terms of the other person's interest. This is the last person we're going to go. Like, this is a good tip for not only just being able to connect with people, but also it's a good tip for negotiations.
Mm.
Is putting everything in terms of the other person's interest, what the other person, what's important to the other person.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I know it's important to you that we move, that we have time to talk for the right amount of time. I know, you know, being able to connect in an uninterrupted environment is something that's important to you. So let's move this meeting to a time that it's going to be better for us to be able to do that. When really at the same time the schedule was jacked up for you completely. It was like horrible. You know, it just didn't work. You know, but instead of saying, hey, I want to move this meeting, say, hey, I know you like to be unobstructed, you know, and you like to be able to connect without it. And so it's like it's the same thing, but it shares the benefit to somebody else. And then even when you're talking, it's like, don't talk about all the stuff that's interesting to you. If you got somebody talking with who don't like football, don't be sitting there beating them up about football.
Right.
Like, guess what? If you talking football and the other person is unbothered about it, but if the other person is concerned with literature, or the other person is concerned with religion, or the other person is concerned with some kind of macroeconomic situation, you know, be an interesting enough person that you can be able to adapt to what other people are interested in and have a conversation. That's another reason why you see all of these books around here. The books that we have everywhere. We got stacks of books. More than Joyce can show you stacks of books just sitting out everywhere. The reason why is it helps you to be a more interesting person. Interesting people have more stuff to talk about. It's all, and when you have an author or you got some fresh thought or you got something that's interesting to talk about and engage people with, it helps when you're wanting to win friends and influence people, or even in the real estate business or any other business. But when I'm talking to people all day, you probably spend about 10% of the time that you're talking about actual business stuff. It's easy. It's like, bro, I need the roof, the gutters, and this is the price. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Pick the materials up for here. That's a 60-second conversation. How do we end up talking for 10 minutes? Well, 10% of the conversation was that. The rest of it was just us catching up, you know, and having some interesting talk about what was going on in each other's lives. So know and understand that in a very, very big way. If you want to be really great with business, you want to be great in everything you're doing, it's all about people, and it's all about meeting them where they are. And as always, we got to let you all know that we want you all to apply these skills in real estate investing. And some people are able to go that journey alone. Other people want somebody to walk with them on the journey. And so we're here to walk with you on the journey. Real estate convinces itself. And so we're here to help those who have a desire to do it, but don't know all the way. They need some help. They need some mentorship. They say, hey, well, show me how you were able to do it. Show me some success tips. I want somebody to walk with me on this journey. I don't want to do it alone. I can do it, but I got a couple properties, but I feel like I could be going much faster if I had a couple tips and to build this business out. And so that's what we do. You can text us at 502-632-3005. We'd love for you to join our community of couples who are investing in real estate and growing together. And we know that it's always so much better together. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. God bless. Bye-bye.